Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. As the current time of 11:13 a.m. on the Eastern Time on the 29th day of this year, 2023. Hope you guys have a great year so far. And also, the month is almost over. We are 2 days away. 2.5 days away from the month of January closing onto February. And with respect to overall crypto market, as of this morning, we are relatively green across the spectrum. We just consolidate on a sideways fashion, right? Bouncing in between. And just to point that out specifically for Ethereum, that is 1550 versus 1650. And we've been kind of consolidated on a sideways fashion, forming this wedge that we are technically, if you look closely, we are forming this like downward triangle. So as we form this downward triangle, we will eventually get squeezed and pump up. However, the magnitude of this pump will be relatively minimal due to the fact that we are relatively overbought at the 65 out of 70. We have formed a death cross, but it seems that we are on the verge of either consolidating and landing and then eventually glide up from here. But something that we understand is that the weekly is still have this large separation, and we are also in the 55 out of 70 level. So the weekly is quite negative because of the separations that we're seeing. However, the monthly, it is looking quite bullish with this landing path, and then eventually glide up and then reverse up from here, forming this mega golden cross, which is, again, takes months away for us to get there. On the Bitcoin side of the equation, we would say that it's similar in fashion, right? We are looking to glide and land and eventually take off. On the weekly, though, it is a large separation as well. We are at the 60 out of 70 on the RSI scale. On the daily, we are about to form a death cross, and I think with respect to the cross section, it is very prominent that we will see some decline on the price front, knowing the fact that we're forming clearly an upward wedge right now. If you form this triangle nicely, it is definitely pointing upward than a downward front. So now we're looking to kind of cross down and then cross up at the 83 out of 70 on the daily front. So Bitcoin looks quite extended and quite overbought, and frankly, in a price level, it's quite dangerous as well to be getting in at these levels. Okay, just checking on the news front just to see anything that we need to kind of be aware of before we kind of dive in to the day. Seems like, across the spectrum is relatively mixed bag. Obviously, Tesla had a relatively killing week. One day was up like 10%, second day was up like 6%, 16% pump in a relatively short amount of time due to its more surprising positive results. But with respect to the near front, the near term will be, as we know, the 31st is the beginning of the FOMC meeting. The first is going to be the second day of the FOMC meeting, and by second, we should ideally see some confirmatory signal on the rate sides, on how we can be proceeding going forward with the economy. And also with respect to, are we going to go with 50 basis point this time? Are we going to go with 75 basis point again? How much worse can we get, right? And then obviously the subsequent factors that will be happening weeks away would be like the earnings that we will collectively get on the overall market front. And the tax season, the other lingering factors would be the COVID situation on a regional and also global perspective, and also with respect to Q1 activities among a lot of companies, like especially automakers, and combined with the Lunar New Year in China, obviously there will be a slowdown in productions and financial activities as well. And then all the way to the tax season, which people will be having have to pay a tax. So how would that that these type of effects in terms of what prioritization will bake into the market until we get over all these humps, then we should ideally reverse from here. Okay. So it's a shorter one than usual. Try to keep it short and sweet, but I think you guys get the point. It's nothing to really to kind of mention at the moment. We are just kind of pending until the seismic effects happens on the upcoming Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. So appreciate you. Have a good day and take care.